So what's up to all my beautiful queens, divas of a more mature age? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me here on my channel today. I am the Eva Monroe, and I wanted to do this video today. I thought that we should have a conversation about a conversation. We haven't talked in a while, and I really wanted to talk about some of the comments that I saw on two of my recent videos. The first video was about wardrobe essentials, like things you didn't know you needed. And then the other one was about etiquette. So I thought those videos were pretty decent videos. I thought they were good videos. I thought they were very helpful videos. But some of the comments were just a little bit alarming to me. And here's why. So one of the comments that I read specifically was, "This is how to look like a Karen." And another comment, "How to dress like a Karen. If you want to dress like a Karen, watch this video." And then in the etiquette video, it was stuff like, "This is European behavior, right? This is how Europeans behave." So I was really kind of confused by those remarks, but I know where they come from, and that's really what I want to talk about today. The first thing that I'll start out by saying is that I never talk about anything on my channel that I haven't experienced or that I haven't been through. Like, I've never talked about a subject that I don't know anything about. And I've often shared with you guys that I come from a place where no one told me anything. Like, no one told me anything about how to carry myself. I didn't know how to carry myself like a lady. I didn't know how to take care of myself. There were so many things that I didn't know, right? So that is one reason why this channel is so important to me, because I get to share my experiences and the things that I've learned with other women. And I also get to talk about things that didn't work for me and things that actually hurt me, along my journey, so that other young girls or other women don't have to make the same mistakes as I do. So if you've ever watched me, if you know anything about me, you know that I come from, like I said in my etiquette video, the school of hard knocks. I come from nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean absolutely nothing. I'm no money, no elegance, no style, no grace, no great upbringing, none of that. Just, a lot of bad experiences, a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of anger. That's where I come from. So very early, well, I won't say very early. Actually, let me switch that up. Very late in my life, I decided that I wanted to rewrite my own story. That was important to me. I wanted to change the way I did everything. I wanted to change the way I lived, the way I dressed, the way I acted. And simply because what I was doing previously didn't work for me, right? It didn't work for me at all. So, as I said, I come from nothing. And many times in my life, things would happen to me and I would swear up and down that I had hit rock bottom, right? I would be like, "Oh, I done hit rock bottom again. I done fell." But when I moved to St. Louis, when I first moved to St. Louis, I had this moment where things were really bad for me, right? I mean, really bad for me. And in my mind, there was a knock on the door. And when I opened that door, it was a voice that said, "Congratulations, this is rock bottom." You here. This is really it. And I was broke. I was broken. Nothing in my life was going right. And when I say nothing in my life was going right, I mean nothing. I was working one job, and I remember we got paid every single week, every Friday. And I remember many weeks when I wouldn't eat on Wednesday and Thursday. I couldn't eat on Wednesday and Thursday because I had got in my house, I was paying bills, barely, keeping my head above water, having to choose between paying this bill and putting gas in my car and buying groceries and doing this and doing that. And there were weeks where I wouldn't eat Wednesday and Thursday. And on Friday at 12 o'clock midnight, Friday in the morning, I would get out of my bed and I would go sit down at Denny's or IHOP and eat food so that I could go to work functioning the next day. That's how bad it was. Now, when I was going through this, it never dawned on me that all of this was self-inflicted, right? Because let's be very clear about the fact that once we get to a certain age in our lives, you get to a certain point, you no longer have anybody to blame for your misfortunes. And I never understood that because I blamed everything on my childhood, my mother, my father not being there, my mother being who she was, my uncle who did X, Y, and Z, the men in my life, blamed all of that on them for the reason why I couldn't be successful in my life, right? So it dawned on me in the midst of the knock on the door and having to go through this, that until I changed many things about myself, which was inside of my mind, the way that I behaved, the things that I did, the people that I did those things with, nothing would change for me. Until I changed my thought process about money, until I let go of my broke mentality, nothing would ever change for me. And I did not know this and I didn't understand this. And that was the reason why I kept buying lottery tickets too, because I was like, I'm a hit. I've had so many misfortunes in my life that it's only, God be fair. I deserve to win the lottery. But I didn't deserve to win the lottery. And if I had won the lottery, if I would have won $1 million back then, I would be broke right now today, just so you know. So if you think the same way that I thought about money and treated money the way that I treated money, if you win the lottery today, you're going to be broke in like 6 months to a year. So just know that to be true. So I started making little changes about myself, right? And I told you guys I went to therapy. That was a little big change. That was huge for me. That was it was much needed, and I never knew how needed it was until I actually went and did it and sat down and put the time into it and really started to work on myself. So aside from aside from getting 2 more jobs, and yes, I got 2 more jobs. I was working my day job. I would get off my day job at 2:30. I would go work in the garden department at the Home Depot at 3. I would leave there after close. I would close up. I would sometimes go home, sometimes not. Wasn't lucky enough to be able to go home. Maybe shower, maybe not. And go to Amazon. I'd work at Amazon until 3 o'clock in the morning, digging myself out of the ditch that I had put myself in, right? So I was working in corporate America, right? And when I got this job, I was like, okay, this is it. This is going to be my, my way out or whatever. And I had an earring in my nose, right? And so they were like, oh, I had the nerve, y'all. I had the nerve to wear that to my job interview. They didn't say anything. And then to my first day in orientation. And they were like, oh, no, you got to take that out. So I was like, okay. So I would take it out on Sunday nights typically. And then I would put it right back in on Friday so I could be cute. I had my nose pierced since I was like 14 years old. And I didn't even feel like I looked right without that thing. I had like a teeny tiny diamond. It was cute, But then one night I took it out and I threw it in the trash. I just threw it in the trash. I said, you know what? This is just not what I'm trying to do right now. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that if you have a nose ring, you can't glow up or level up. I'm not saying that. I love them. I think they're cute, but just not the way that I wanted to move. It didn't fit into what I was trying to do. Right. So I had an earring everywhere. I had anywhere you could put an earring. I had earring. Well, not everywhere. I had a belly ring. And one night I was in the shower and I took it out. I used to have so much fun with it. I would put like dangly, sparkly little stuff in it. And I was in the shower one night and I just unscrewed that little ball. I threw it over the shower doors. It landed in the trash and I never took it out again. I just thought, I'm trying to move different. I want to change. I want to rewrite my story. I want to reinvent myself, right? So I spoke before about how, and then in my etiquette video, I talked about how I went to this military ball with my first husband, and I was thoroughly embarrassed because I didn't know the etiquette. I didn't know what was expected of me. Kind of like Megan when she went to the palace. She didn't know, what was expected of her. So I was embarrassed. Later on, someone would take me to a formal event at the Sheraton Hotel. And again, I was embarrassed because I didn't know the proper etiquette. I got up the next morning, and I went downstairs looking for the continental breakfast. They were like, "Ma'am, this ain't Motel 6. No, we have a bowl of fruit on the bar that you may take from, but we do not have continental breakfast," right? So stop acting white. Because I know some of y'all are like, get to the point, because that's what y'all do, right? Get to the point, get to the point. Oftentimes I feel like when women, I'm going to say it, Black women, I can say it because I'm a Black woman, okay? When we are trying to glow up or level up, or some people sometimes will say conform or do something different because we feel like what we're doing, we know what we're doing is not working for us. We're always going to have this group of women in the back like, "Oh, you doing too much. Oh, you trying to be white. Oh, you this. Oh, you that." And it bothers me because I've always been the type of person, I've always minded my own business. I don't care what type of foolishness I've been involved in my life. I've always minded my own business, and I've always let people be and do who they are and whatever it is that they want to do, whatever makes them happy. So I feel like these women sometimes make women who are on their glow up or on their level up journey feel like they're doing the wrong thing. And I really cannot stand that. If you think for 1 minute that knowing the proper etiquette is acting like Karen or trying to be white, you are sadly mistaken. I would say out of all the formal events I've attended, I would say that the military functions could be considered as European because someone said this is European etiquette, and maybe 1 or 2 charity events, but everything else is not been. It's been put on by us. But guess what? When it's a formal event, the table is always going to be set the same, right? The requirements and the expectations are always going to be the same. The fork's going to be in the same place. Black tie is going to be black tie. After 5 is going to be after 5. It doesn't matter what nationality puts this event on. It's pretty much the same across the board. Maybe a little more relaxed in some environments, but it's pretty much the same across the board. And that's the reason why it was important to me to learn the proper etiquette. There's nothing worse than going somewhere. I always saw myself great. I'm just going to say that. I always saw myself in those type of situations. I wanted to be in those type of situations. I wanted to put on a gown and go somewhere and be beautiful and be amongst the affluent. I always saw myself doing that, right? So it was necessary to learn the proper etiquette. And that's not saying that you got to have it down 100%, but you at least know how to conduct yourself in those type of situations. You need to know that. For all the women who are always in my comments and my DMs and my emails asking me, well, where do I go to meet an affluent man? Or what should I do? Or how should I? He's going to need you to know how to conduct yourself. He's going to need you to carry yourself in an elegant way. He's going to require that of you, unless he's a rapper or a trapper. He's going to need you to know those things. And so that it's so important for you to brush up on your etiquette skills, right? It's not about being fake, because I've heard this before. Women will say this, oh, that's fake. I ain't putting on for nobody. It's not about any of that. I often hear people refer to code switching as being fake, when guess what? It's actually a skill that many of us lack, that we should not lack. You should know how to do that. I notice these days what happens is a lot of us don't understand that there's a time and a place for everything. I've seen women in corporate America dress, act, speak the same way that they dress, act, and speak in the club on Friday nights. And it's not the right thing to do. You have to know when to turn it on and turn it off. Twerking is for your living room, when you got your music on and you cleaning up the house. It's not for church. It's not for the corporate event. It's not for any of that. And that is an issue with many of us today. We have no filters, we have no boundaries, and we have no kill switch. And you gotta have a kill switch, right? Someone asked me one day, should you have more than one group of friends? Is it rude or is it disrespectful to your friends that you have more than one group of friends? You better have more than one group of friends. Why wouldn't you have more than one group of friends? My broke friends don't hang out with my wealthy friends. They don't like to do the same thing. They can't afford to do the same things. My professional friends or people that I do business with, well, they don't know my hood friends. They don't hang out at the same events or the same functions, and sometimes they may come together in a situation at my home, but my hood friends definitely know what's expected of them and how they should conduct themselves. They should do some code switching in an environment like that, right? It just makes sense. It's the right thing to do. It's not being fake. It's just having a filter. You have to have a filter. You have to know when to turn it off and turn it on. So it really saddens me to hear Black women say that if you are interested in having a more put together appearance, if you're interested in taking care of yourself, you want to look the part, you want to have etiquette skills, then you're acting like Karen. And I could not disagree with that more. That is 100% incorrect. You are doing exactly what you need to be doing. I think that, like I said, when we begin the process of change is uncomfortable, but it's not only uncomfortable for us, it can be uncomfortable for the people around us, because there are people in my life that I'm sure if you talk to them, you got the I remember whens. Like, if you ask them, did they know me? Do you know Eva Monroe? Oh, I know her. I remember when she didn't have nothing. I remember when she done forgot. Well, I remember too. And I actually remember better than they remember. And I remember so well that I never want to go back to that place, And then you have the people that you will ask that, do they know me? And they will tell you about my glow up and how wonderful it is. And those are the people that I rock with. Those are the people that surround me. Some of those people are on their glow up too, or have been through their glow up. So you have to keep those people, the negative cheerleaders, you have to keep those people away from you. And a lot of the I remember wins, I didn't even clean them out of my life. They actually cleaned themselves out of my life, which it was no work at all. They just moved on. They were like, oh, I ain't fooling with her because she think. I was like, okay, thank you. No work, no work involved. So I say this all the time, that if change is possible for me, for me, if I could grow up and glow up and level up, it's possible for anyone. My life has at times been 100% a wreck. I've been through many things. I've been through things that I've never even talked about, on my channel. Traumatic situations, but at the end of the day, when I decided that I wanted to be something different and I wanted to be better, well, I didn't give a damn what the people around me said. The haters and the naysayers, I became, whatever they said fell upon deaf ears. I didn't hear any of that. So I just want us, and I could say it, like I said, because I am one, Black women, to stop bullying each other and stop being mean girls and let women do what it is that they want to do, what makes them feel comfortable at the end of the day. And I want everyone to know that, no, if you have good etiquette skills, if you speak appropriately, if you dress well, that does not mean that you are acting like Karen. Karen didn't create this. Let's be very clear about that, right? So thank you, ladies, so much for listening to me today. Until I see you again, be blessed and bye for now.